Hey there, I'm a member of the Tar Heel Airgun Club that is now located in Mount Pleasant, North Carolina. And we have a lot of these rat targets, and we've got a whole pile of them, and they've been shot up and need some servicing and maybe some more interesting paint. These rat targets usually come black, and somebody's painted this one blue. But there's a couple of upgrades I think we can do to these targets. So I'm going to show you how to do that. The first thing is these rat targets, they come with reducers that you can put into place. And that's great because you can make it a more challenging shot, especially the more close-up shots. The problem is that the reducers are mounted to the back of the target. I think you can see, hopefully you can see, there's a bolt that holds on there's two reducers. I think it's a 1/2 inch and a 1 inch reducer. The problem with that is a lot of shooters don't like reducers that are mounted to the back because these reducers actually haven't been shot up yet. But when there's a lot of misses and they really get shot up, it's really hard to tell where the kill zone is, where the edge of that reducer is, and especially with shadows and depending how it's painted and the lighting. So. And actually with after rules, anytime you use a reducer, the reducer has to be mounted to the front, okay? So I'm going to show you how to actually move the reducers that come with this target and move them to the front. The other thing is the string attaches to this ring right here, and the string, just with the wind or animals moving around on your course, will snag a string, and the string will get caught on the front foot of this target, and then no matter how hard you pull on the target to reset it, it will not reset because the string gets hung. The other thing is the string attaches to this ring, and I've seen a lot of shooters miss and actually shoot the string or shoot the clip that holds the string to the ring here. So we're going to take care of that too. So I'm going to show you what we're going to end up with. We're going to end up with something like this. So what we've done is we've taken the reducers and the bolt that mount it to the back, and we've moved it to the front. So this reducer is on the front now. We could use this for an after match. And I've got the 1/2 inch, I believe this 1/2 inch reducer on the front right now. The 1 inch reducer is actually on the very back, just stored there. So anytime we wanted to, we could remove the reducer altogether, or we could put the 1 inch reducer on the front. And we've got a custom paint job. I'll explain how to do a speckled paint job like that. And also we've added this bar, this pull string bar to the front. And what this does is it keeps the string from getting snug around the feet, and also you can't really shoot the string unless you're just a really bad shot. It protects the string, and it makes it easier to actually pull up this target. So it's not very difficult, and a couple of upgrades to your target. And so I'm going to show you how to do that now. And I'll apologize now for my messy workshop. It's a mess. It's really funny because when I was a kid, I used to complain to my grandpa about his messy shop and told him he needed to clean it up. And now here I am. It's funny how things work out that way. But anyway, Grandpa will be proud. So anyway, I'm going to show you now how to disassemble and do those modifications. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the linkage here. And actually, I'm going to turn around this way. Remove this linkage. I'm also going to remove the reducers. And I'm going to remove the faceplate from the base. So now we have the faceplate free, and we can actually work with it. Also going to remove this ring. Now to remove the stud that holds the reducers onto the back, I'm going to punch it out, so I need a punch. A hammer and a punch like this one. You may be able to tell where it is on the front faceplate. If you can't, what you need to do is open your vise up just a little bit and kind of straddle it there and whack it a few times with your hammer. And what it'll do is you'll be able to tell exactly where it was pressed into the metal. So once you do that and you can see the edges of it, I'm just going to hold it over that opening on my vise and use my punch, give it a few whacks, and it should pop on out just like that. So now I've got a hole where I can put a new bolt. I've purchased some, I believe these are 1/2 inch, but I would take it to the hardware store and make sure you get the right size. What I did is I bought some bolts, some star washers, and nuts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'll be sticking it in this way. If it's a little snug, you might want to use a drill bit and kind of clean out that hole a little bit. But this bolt, it'll slide right in, and I can put my reducer now in the front. I'm going to go ahead and put this nut on the back just for safekeeping. If your faceplate is pretty well pitted, or it has flaky paint on it or something like that, take a wire brush or putty knife or whatever you need, sandpaper, and clean it up. This one's in pretty decent shape. I'm going to just scuff it up a little bit, and then I'm going to give it a base coat. And I'll also show you how to put a speckle paint job on it. This is also a good time to take the base of the target, clean it up, paint the paddle. Make sure you paint the paddle a contrasting color from what the faceplate's going to be, and good time to paint the base black, lubricate the joints, make sure they're not too snug and that kind of thing. So we're going to do that now. Okay, I've got my base coat on this target, and it's still a little wet, but I still think I can do this splatter effect. All I'm going to do is take some contrasting color, and in this case blue. I'm going to spray 3 or 4 squirts of blue spray paint into the lid, and then I'm going to just sling it, kind of fling it on there. So let's see how this works. All right, just like that, and then we'll let that dry, and then we'll put the target all back together. Okay, to make the bar that I'm attaching to the front, I just went to the hardware store and bought some aluminum stock. I believe this is 1/8 of an inch by 1/2 inch aluminum, something like that. It's thick, fairly thick. Drilled 2 small holes in it, and I made sure I bought some small machine screws with lock nuts. About the smallest I could find at the hardware store. It has to be small enough to go in that little hole that's on the little pull lever on the front of the target. You have to make sure that this will fit through there. So I drilled a hole in each end. Notice on this end, I rounded the corner. So whenever it mounts to the target, it's going to mount like your target is here. It's going to mount like that, and it has to be rounded so it doesn't just stick straight out. It can kind of fall as the target falls and doesn't scrape up the front of your paint on your target. So it's about 6 inches long, so you can get a long bar of it. I'm not sure how long it is, 6 foot long, and something like that, and cut it up into about 6-inch sections. You might be able to get a shorter one if you want. I just used aluminum because it's a little easier for me to work with. I'm not a machinist really, or I just have some really basic tools. So that's what we're using for the front to mount to the target. One thing I forgot to mention is make sure you paint the reducers so it matches the front of the faceplate whenever you're painting the faceplate. And so everything's dried, and I've put it all back together and attached the pull rod here. I put the original ring that came on the target. I actually attached it here so I can attach the string to the ring. And again, the reducer is mounted on the back and the front. Made the paddle a contrasting color so it's easier to see as long as there's paint on it. Eventually it'll all be shot off. So anyway, that's a couple of really simple things to do to make this target a little bit better. Get creative with your paint on your targets. Get some different colors, mix and match some spray patterns. And then if you're really creative, you can make them look realistic, or just do something wild. So I hope this helped. If you have some other ideas to make these targets work better, let me know in the comments. I'd like to hear about them. So thanks a lot.